In this lecture, we're going to actually lock those commands that have unmet dependencies on the UI so the player cannot execute those. Let's go. We'll start back in the tech tree SO. We have a way to track whether we have the met dependencies, but we don't have a way to tell anybody whether or not a particular unlockable is unlocked. So in the dependency struct, let's add a public bool is unlocked. That's an expression-bodied property where we can just check if the dependencies count is equal to the met dependencies count. What this does is allows us to compare, have we added all of those dependencies to our met dependencies? If so, then we know that we have all of them, and this thing should be unlocked, which gives you a hint on how we're going to handle losing a dependency. While we're in here, let's go ahead and remove these debug.logs since we know this is working properly. And we actually don't need this if statement. At the bottom, we can remove this whole block. Then let's come up to the tech tree. We've given the dependency a way to tell us if something is unlocked. We also need to provide that on the tech tree. So similarly, up here at the top, let's define a public bool is unlocked. This needs to be a function that accepts the owner and the unlockable. We'll make it an expression-bodied function. And how can we check this? Well, we can do tech trees keyed by owner, try get value for that unlockable out dependency value. Remember, this tech tree's owner refers to this dictionary, that owner's tech tree. And we were trying to get for this particular unlockable, give me that dependency, meaning then we can check, is that dependency unlocked? And value.isUnlocked. That's all we have to do to offer this capability in the tech tree with these dictionaries. Now to mark something as locked, that's going to be on any build building or build unit command. And we're going to need a reference now to that tech tree so we can check, is it unlocked? This is another really important reason that it is a scriptable object. At the top of build building command, let's put a serialized field, private tech tree SO tech tree. And let's go ahead and copy paste that into the build unit command. Make sure we're using GameDevTV RTS tech tree. And then come over into Unity. In our assets, units, buildings commands, we've got all these build unit commands. Because these are all the same scriptable object type, we can select all of them and assign that human tech tree in the inspector. Then back in the project panel under assets, units, commands, because we've named all of these build buildings with build space building name, we can select all of those at once, and they're all the build building command, and we can again assign the tech tree in the inspector. With those set up, we can come back to VS Code, which is where we will have you implement this lecture's challenge. In the build unit command and the build building command, return true on is locked if the unit or building, respectively, are not yet unlocked. Pause the video, update these two commands, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. Here in is locked, if we do not have enough supplies, or the tech tree is unlocked, that means we want to do not tech tree.isUnlocked, providing the context owner and the unit. So if we don't have enough supplies or the thing's not unlocked for this owner, we can't do it. This thing is locked. We'll just move that down to the new line so we can see it all on one screen. And we're going to do this exact same thing on build building command. Let's go ahead and just copy that. Come to build building command, come down to is locked. We know this is going to be too long, so move it to a new line, paste. Then we just want to change the unit to the building. And that's all we were looking for in this challenge. Now let's come back to Unity and take a look at the infantry school. This is using the same 150 minerals cost, which in the previous lecture we set to be free. So if we click play, we would expect we cannot build the infantry school immediately, even though we have all of the supplies required, because we've not yet built a barracks. So if we select a worker, build, great. Infantry school is not allowed, nor is the airport. Let's go ahead and build that barracks. And once this is done, we would expect that if we tried to build an infantry school, it would now let us. So let's select the worker, build, perfect. The infantry school is now available. And on the barracks, we cannot build the grenadier because it requires the infantry school. On the infantry school, let's make that an 8-second build time as well. Go ahead and build that infantry school. And start getting some minerals and gas so we can actually build that grenadier. And we would expect here in a second, once we have 50 minerals and 50 gas, that we would be able to build that grenadier. There we go. We did see that the UI is not updating properly, so we'll have to add some changes to the runtime UI to make sure we're listening for the right events. But that's all we've got for this lecture. We've connected all of the pieces together where we can now block the player from building anything that they've not yet reached far enough into the tech tree to build. When you're ready to move on, I'll see you on the next lecture.